Today's topic is, I will present you, in this customer case, the first customer who was running SAP HANA in production. You will see this time schedule, but the message from me is you will see in this case the evolution from HANA on Power. From the beginning, how we started to be compliant with SAP and what we do now. It's a time frame from 15 months, but you will see what changed technically in this project. So, agenda. Two slides about history of HANA and the current status of this project when we started 15 months ago. Then, short introduction of the customer, the history, HANA history of the customer, because this customer adapted SAP HANA very, very early. So that means 2012 already. You see it here. Customer was part of the ramp-up, what we did last year. I will tell you about a migration step project and the goals we did together with SAP and a German business partner who helped us to set up this project, because we had in the beginning really some technical, not issues, I will not call issues, but we had some technical, or we had no official support for some technical parts what we implemented at this project, but it was necessary for the customer to run it, and we gained support from SAP during the ramp-up. Lessons learned and the summary. So that is history of HANA on Power, just that you understand it. We started early with the development, and in this time frame when we started the project, we have already behind us the official test innovation program with 5 customers, and we started here in March 2015 when the official ramp-up from SAP for HANA on Power was announced. So we nominated this customer to be part of the ramp-up, and we had in this ramp-up 25 customers who have had a chance to get in production with HANA on Power. Then at this time frame, you see it here, we had GA in August last year, and that was the time frame from the ramp-up to the official GA from SAP to run this project and to get really go in production with HANA on Power. So that is the SAP HANA on Power roadmap 15 months ago. That was the starting time where we started a project. That means you see on the left side we had only SUSE 11 SP3 available. We had a patch available during the project. We have to implement that to gain all the technology features what we have provided on the Power 8 technology. That means SMT8. We had only XFS as file system. At this time when we started, we were only allowed on the Power platform to provide one LPAR per physical box. That was the starting point. Besides that LPAR, we were able to run 2 different IO servers. That's always available, but at this time only one production HANA LPAR on 1 physical box. That was the starting point. SAP just announced the TDA phase 4, where external storage devices were available, where HANA on Power gets into the play. So that was the starting point of this project. So we had, I will say, many limitations to really get forward. But okay, that was SAP and as well IBM didn't have the experiences to run HANA on Power in production, so we had a limited starting point, but you will see what we did in the time frame. So, and you see here as well that is the things what we expect right now, because SAP also provides a roadmap that was last year in the autumn time. This was this year in the springtime. This is what SAP announced or will announce this year at the autumn time. So they always provide a roadmap from 1 year. And you see it here. SUSE 12 little engine is on the way to get available. So we see that end of November. That's available as well on Power with SLES 12. So, and you see here as well other technology features, other things what are supported right now. Question?
So when is CAPI support available? Is that in November as well?
No, that's not available in November, but that's a roadmap from SAP. So some things are switching to a later time frame. As well, Red Hat 7 will not come in November. So, but that was the roadmap 1.5 years ago or 1 year ago. So, but important is from my side already that SAP saw at this time that CAPI is a technology which is unique for the Power Platform and where SAP sees very much benefits for enabling this technology even with Power. So just some numbers about the company. HammReno Group is a shoe retailer in Germany, or located in Germany, but he serves the complete European market. They have 5,000 employees and 2,000 point of sales in all over Europe. They are, from a business perspective, located in the large mid-market, large enterprise segment. So they have around 600,000 million euros revenue a year. That's where they are working. So that are some slides from the customer. The main focus is the German-speaking area. That means Germany, Austria, Switzerland. But as well, they have part in the eastern part of Europe, as well in France and Italy. They are located. So, HammReno Group, additional information. Largest footwear system wholesaler in Europe. So that's a brand in Europe. Everybody knows that. They have all kinds of shoes, not only cheap shoes for families, as well they have good brands, and you will see that later, sports stuff and all that stuff. They have some patents where they have really engineers. They are providing technology for wearing the right shoe for every feet. So that is why this customer is really adapted by the population in Germany, because they provide really healthy shoes. So some of the brands, you see that on the right side, Adidas, Reebok, and all that stuff, they sell in their point of sale stuff. They have really a big assortment of products, and the shops as well are very pretty, and I see many women like this as well, because they not only have sports and all that stuff, so they have as well women shoes. So let's now start with the project. That was the time frame where we were at this moment. The test innovation phase was just finished. So we start now March, April first, when the official ramp-up was started by SAP. We selected this customer, and he has to apply at SAP to start with the ramp-up before we get general availability. So it was known when we started a ramp-up that normal when you're doing an SAP ramp-up program, 3 to 5 months later, the official GA will be normally there. So we worked with the customer together, and as well with a German business partner who is at the customer side, who provided all the hardware and all the operational system stuff, the attachment of the storage, setting up the complete environment. So, and you see here what I said you before, 20 customers were in the ramp up, and he was number 4 with production in the world. So as I said already, the customer adapted SAP HANA very, very early. He used SAP HANA for their BW system, because that was 2012 as well on x86, the only use case what was available at this time. So, but he had other use cases which were very important for the customer. And you see that here on the top of the slide. He wants real-time reporting from his ERP system, from the point of sale systems to the BW, because he wants to make perfect integration of real-time processing and getting all the logistics done with real-time information. So that was the really key point from him, not just running reports on BW, to maintain his logistic with real-time information and do better logistics or nearly real-time logistics, because that is the critical part for this customer. When he sells his products, they have to be on time at the customer side or even in the stores. So that was the reason why he selected in 2012 already SAP HANA to bring up this stuff. You see it here. He started with IBM appliance. That was at this time a X5 system based on Westmere, Intel Westmere CPUs. That was enough because he used 512 gigabyte. It's not that big BW system. At this time, we had only appliances on the market, so from x86. So you have to decide 265, 512, 1 terabyte. That were the appliance models. So we sold at this time the 512 gigabyte system. And yeah, you see it now. They had now around 300 gigabytes. So no big systems, but the complete ecosystem for the SAP environment with SAP HANA, system SAP landscape transformation, you will see that later. That is a tool from SAP that replicates in real time data from the ERP system to the HANA system. That was the really key stuff of the project, not the small size of the database. So as well, sometimes we have luck that a customer purchased at the beginning of 2015 new infrastructure based on Power 8. So we had or the customer has not to provide some investment in additional hardware, because Power 8 was at this time the only certified platform for running SAP HANA as it is right now as well. So the hardware was at the customer, and the customer renewed his Power 6 or Power 7 infrastructure with Power 8, because all other SAP systems are running with Oracle under IAX. So we had, you see it here, 4 servers in the data center for SAP workload, even one only Linux server, the H22L. So I do not know how it works in US, but in Germany the customer always, I will not say oversized it, but they have a cycle of 3 to 4 months, years when they sell or lease hardware, so they does not want to buy additional hardware in this time frame, so they provide, or IBM has to provide, or the business partner has to provide enough room for growing in this time frame. So the L machine, the Linux L machine, we not used it. We don't need it at this time when the customer purchased the hardware for setting up or migrating the traditional SAP environment to Power 8. So this was just installed at the customer site, and we had the chance to bring HANA and Power on this machine because it was certified as Power 8. So we selected this machine. You see it here, the customer used it as Linux test system. So because he has already some Linux workload in the data center. For the storage backend, they had IBM storage V5000 with SSD disks and HDDs in the side. So as you know, HANA Power is to set up with TDI. So we did the sizing regarding the HANA needed storage. At this time, it was much more than we have right now today. So, but to bring up the KPIs, to fulfill the KPIs, we sized the storage or the already installed storage, but we sized the part what we need. And as you see it here, we doubled from the Power 7 to the Power 8 migration. We doubled the subs for leaving room for new deployments and for growth. And as well, what was a good impact for that project to get the HANA Power project set up, that the already installed x86 appliance get end of lease, end of December. So the customer already has to look which new hardware he will buy for the already installed HANA appliance model. So that was at this time as well the SAP Strategic Time. So that is from the customer of Heuer, from the customer. So he's BW or BW was the first use case, was available on HANA. Then 2013 Business Suite comes up, and yeah, Germany is a very SAP-focused country, so the customers believe in what SAP says to them, and so the future for this customer is, and you will see that later, he stopped not with implementing BW only. He has a roadmap to go for Suite on HANA and even for S/4HANA, so that was what a customer convinced to do the complete migration to HANA and even to Power. As well, there's a customer foil. He wants to go, and that is his big picture, to bring up all his SAP systems in a private cloud as well. And when we're talking about a private cloud, I think you agree that that is only possible when you have a virtualization layer, even in the in the storage and in the compute environment running. So he's very optimistic, because all his complete SAP environment was running on Power, completely virtualized. So, and that was why he was not, or why he was willing to run as well HANA on Power. Availability on promise, that's as well a customer slide, but you have to remember what we had at this time available. So test automation program, we already talked. But at this time, before we get started, we had the Linux on Power. We had to use Power 8, and we were at this time limited to this stuff of memory, no problem for him. But even what was a little, not issue, but it was work for the customer, we were starting at BW 731. So the customer was only on BW 730. So he has, before we could migrate to HANA on Power, he has to upgrade his application stack. That's not a big issue, but it's even work to be done, and even you have to test it because you are changing something in the environment. But that was, we had this discussion with the customer before we started, and he knows that he has to do that. So that was no big deal for him. At this time, we had this our IBM platform available with the scale out servers, even with the enterprise server, with the high end. So, but we had, as I said before, we had a small server or a small server in the data center available with no production use, so we selected this, but the complete Power portfolio is available. Reflections from the customer. As I said 5 minutes ago, SAP HANA is strategic for SAP and then even for the customer. He has proved experiences with Power VM, so he wants to bring back all SAP workload back to Power. That was the goal as well for the customer. So he had for this time when we started, he had no other chance to bring HANA in the data center based on x86. So, but now he saw the goal, and that was, from my perspective as well, the goal for the customer, to bring all SAP workload back to Power. And the customer presented last year at TechEd about this project. He said about x86, don't be angry when I say that, but he said that was for him a foreign object in the data center. So that's his words, so not mine. But that was the reason and he had now the chance to bring all back the Power, the SAP workloads to Power. We talked about the hardware lifecycle. That was good for us. Already Power 8 hardware in the data center, so no more additional investment costs. Ramp up started together with SAP. Yeah, we had highly interest to bring up that customer because it was a good case from our perspective, not too big database. We had some limitation, I said that already, about 3 terabyte at this time. So it was perfect. He had experiences as well with HANA. So he had experience with Power. So it was just to migrate the data and do an application upgrade from 730 to 731, but that was not a big deal. So now we're going a little bit more technical. So that was the setup, what I decided to bring up to the customer. You see it here. We had 24 machines up and running with all the traditional SAP workload. Even TSM is running on these machines. At this point, we were limited, and I said that already. Here you see that. That was the HANA setup, only the 2 wires and only one LPAR, only one LPAR installed on one server. That was the requirements from SAP to get official support. The development system we already integrated completely in a full virtualized environment. Live partitionability setup, so no special setup for this. That's known in the Power environment. WIOS, LPM, doubling the data, doing disk mirroring to two different data centers. So getting a little bit HA as well or getting HR and HA and DR setups. That's, I think everybody knows that. So as well, the backup is done from one data center to the other. So that was the setup. What we decided, we had this kind of information, a 20-core, 384 gigabyte machine at this available, and we have with this kind of servers, we have for BW the core to memory ratio from 32 gigabyte per core. So that means when we have more than 300 gigabyte database, 320 gigabyte, we need 10 cores for this LPAR. So we had enough room as well for the VIO server, so that server fits perfect for the setup. Here we see what was not all in the view of the complete project, because here you see the application stuff that was not right now at this time supported by HANA Power. So he wants to do business object reports directly on SAP HANA. That was running on x86 at this time, but not on Power. So technically it's no issue because it runs, it's the same platform, but it was not tested at this time from SAP. So they say at the first time, not officially supported. Even what I said already before, and it's marked here red, the customer uses a SAP tool that is called SAP Landscape Transformation. That is only a NetWeaver system that takes data, what you have defined, and takes it from the ERP system over a network connection to the BW system. Platform independent. But no support for this with HANA Power at this time because it was not tested. HANA revision at this time was 94. At his HANA x86 appliance, he had 92. So as well, we said, okay, we doesn't want to get issues with different HANA versions, so he upgraded on the x86 appliance to the same level what we have installed on Power. That was 94. 32 gigabytes per core. I already said that. And SUSE 11 was at this time the only available software stack, operating system stack from SUSE with the specific patch for enabling SMT8 for Power to get most out of the infrastructure. You see it here because that's as well a customer slide. That were no showstoppers for the customer. So he was really convinced that even business objects reports are not running, are not supported on the HANA Power platform, and even SLT was not supported. He said it must work. So we set it up with the test system, try it there, and go to SAP and show them that it will work. So that was the approach what we did, and we were going to that. Here you see the SAP node, at this time the official SAP node, and as well you see it here, trigger-based replication is not supported. That was the starting point. That is how it works. You see it here, we have a HANA database, and on the right side a traditional ERP system running on every kind of platform, and the landscape transformation or replication server is just a NetWeaver stack who catches up the data and replicates it in real time to the HANA database. And that was very important for the customer because I said that at the beginning of the presentation. He wants to use it for real time data in his logistics. And as well he wants to run reports based on the point of sales, what the customers sold in the evening. He wants to do reports on this, so he needs that information from the ERP system and the BW system, and this was a key part from the solution. Project schedule. I think we had covered most of them. So the customer agreed to ramp up in April. We started then in May. We set up the project in June, and we did the first sandbox migration from the production system end of July. So that means that means 2 weeks before the official GA. We migrated the development system at 5th of August, so that since this time he was productive with the development system on HANA and Power. For the customer, the development system is a really productive system as well because he has 50 to 100 developers. They are doing ABAP development on the system. So see here, the development system was productive from the customer side before we get official GA from SAP. And then we did a final migration from the productive system at the 11th and 12th September last year. Even at this time, at the same time, we had, and you see it in the line above, we had available TSM for HANA and Power one day, or at the same day where we did the productive migration. So that was really timing and sometimes really hard work inside IBM to escalate that we get official support as well for the backup solution, because the customer said to us, I cannot go productive when I have no backup solution. And he was already using the backend interface on the x86 appliance, so he doesn't want to change the backup solution as well on the Power platform. We had a possibility to do a backup in a file system and to catch it up with the backup archive client. That was no real good idea, so the customer forced as well, and he was the first customer who used this software for backing up HANA and Power with TSM. He was there, the customer who was in the pre-production phase for the TSM module to get that supported. That was the actual sizing report. You see it here. We had a 320 gigabyte database. That means we had a 10-core LPAR setup. We had additional resources in the Linux server because for the 2 wires we do not need so much cores, so we sized 2 cores. So we had 6 cores available to grow for this installation. Here you see the network setup and the storage setup from that server. Even in the top you see the different volumes groups we set up for the different kind of data. We had a volume group for the data, for the shared pool, where we have to set up NFS to bring up the connection to the other SAP systems. We had a volume group for the log files. All this setup was done from our business partner Fritz and Matziol. And we also learned other IBM employees and as well from the partner some employees doing this setup to set up HANA and Power. Here I think that's the same, only some wires information more, but we had a completely redundant setup. So if one wire server went down or we need maintenance to do it, we had the other up and running and the connection to the SAN and to the disks. You see here the 10 dedicated. At this time it was only dedicated CPUs with dedicated memory of 320 gigabyte. Yeah, we were completely in the official support metrics from SAP, so we didn't change there something. Why we had to make official SAP OSD Beam migration, and probably you saw that before on a slide. I didn't say that, I forget that, sorry. At this time, the setup from a migration from HANA on x86 to HANA on Power, SAP had no official migration service available for this as well. So we developed this as well in this project, but we have to migrate that system because we use different endineses. x86 is little engine, HANA and Power at this time until we get SLES 12, hope end of this month, it's big engine. So we have to do really SAP heterogeneous system migration. We did that and we get some really bad surprises. You see it here? The customer created over the HANA Studio some tables for the transformation from the ERP system to the BW system. But during the migration, these tables were not exported. So we did export, all worked fine from a technical perspective. We imported it for the first test migration and said to the client, oh yeah, to the line of business, go do your tests. 5 minutes after he started his test, he came back to us. What by the hell were you doing, IBM? The data is not complete there. So we get now the information that not the tables that were really necessary for the customer, because he wants reports doing on the point of sales data, and they were not there. So we only exported the data what was in the dictionary of the database, but not created with the HANA Studio. So we involved SAP because we couldn't find a way why this data was not exported, because the export, and you see that in the log files of the export, were successfully. So we get support from SAP, and so what was the workaround for this case? We exported this data directly from the database and imported it. So that was, we did 2 exports, only the official export from with SAP tools and the export for the trigger-based replicated tables. So not good, but it works. TSM PETA program for getting up the backup stuff. Yeah, we started right after or during the ramp up. We started as well IBM internal. The ramp up, but because from my perspective it was clear the customer can only get productive when he has as well a backup integration. So to be honest, we did, or the customer find an error with the beta program on the TSM code. So he comes back to IBM and we fixed that pre-order going live. That was as well a very good effort from the customer to go inside this program to help us to get the code up and running and getting ready for the production date when we do the final migration. About backup, we already said that. We had the backup path to do really a backup when the TSM agent for HANA on Power would not be that stable or not working properly. So we can do an NFS backup through the HANA Studio and back it up with a TSM client. But the client has also setting up a hierarchical storage strategy where he backed up the data and brought it out of the customer campus to a special company who takes care about the retention of the data. So that was implemented, and he doesn't want to change that process because that was running on x86, and I think nobody wants to get worse than he already has it. So the goal was really to bring it up, and we had good luck that we get the certification or the official GA for the TSM code at the time we did the migration. That was the setup for this setup, but as you see it here, what we did 2016 regarding TSM setup, we do now a complete backup to the other location in data, because this customer data center is located in the south of Germany. The other from the customer is located in the north of Germany. That means 500 kilometers. That means, I think, 350 miles distance. So we do a node replication now, actually, because we changed that after we set it up. Impact of risks. I said that already. We had no problem really with the traditional SAP export-import, only the replicated table, so we have to do that manually. That was the workaround. TSM was available. Support for the work that SAP SLT is now also supported on the Power platform. We get 10 days prior to the GA or the final migration. So that was as well important, very important for the customer to get here an official statement from SAP. SLT, as I said before, is independent from the platform, whatever it runs. But at this project, we did it the first, and the customer was forcing SAP to get that supported. As well as you see it here, the OSD immigration check was developed during this project from SAP, so that's now also available. We had some coding errors in the revision from 94 from HANA, so that was as well part of the project to fix as well this. So that was, as I said before, the customer was running on x86 revision 92. No problems, all was running fine, but we had forced him to migrate to 94 because that was the only supported version with the BW 731 stack, so he has to do that, and you see it here, always changing a software stack means checking, testing, sometimes error troubleshooting. So as well we get this time here, so it was not a smooth project, so we had some troubles, but we fixed that. Okay, I think we covered all. Some lessons learned, yeah, checking and using DNS aliases. That's thinking, that is, I think, clear. Yeah, elevate patch level, BBW patch level, that because we have to update it before. The big issue was about the other objects of the HANA database that were replicated through SLT, so that was a really big lesson learned as well for SAP, that this was not included during the first initial setup. For the migration, you have to think always about that because you have to do it in a time frame which is normally a weekend. So and when you do an export from a SAP database, the work is not done on the database level, it's done on the application level. So take care about that. You have enough resources available, that the application staff who does the export has enough resources, because that is influencing the downtime. Okay, then after the ramp up, I said that to you, we went live at the second week of September, so that means 3 weeks after the official GA. And after this GA, we started the same, because at this time we were not with HANA and Power supporting business suite applications on HANA. So we started as well after the GA from BW. We started the same test and innovation program as we did it on the BW stack. And that was also important for the customer, because I said that already, he has a path to migrate as well transactional workload. That means ERP workload to Power, to HANA. What shall I say to this slide? I can skip it, or? That is the workload what the customer see here on the left corner, down here. That is the average CPUs used for 1 week for the HANA and Power. We have 10 cores therein, and how much do we use? Some peaks. The other is, so as probably some of you were in my session yesterday as well. That is what us helps as IBM, to bring that to SAP and say to them, hey, look here. We have a core to memory ratio from 32 gigabytes per core, And that is what we utilize this L part. That cannot be. That's not how we want to use it, and even in a virtualized or cloud environment, you cannot accept that. So, but okay, we came back to SAP and said to them, okay, here you get it. The customer, give him all access to the system, whatever you want, and yeah, that helps us to double now as well the core to memory ratio. We have a bigger core to memory ratio on our enterprise servers, and even we can virtualize now because we can see, and you will see the futures files later. We can now bring really up more HANA LPARs on one server that we were able at this time. There's an official YouTube video and a reference available, so as well in English. It's really the point from the customer, what were his benefits for doing this project, getting all the SAP workload back to Power, getting more performance, because I showed you only the CPU cycles, what we are using, but even the response time from the Power infrastructure was 50 to 100% better than here, and you see it here. We had, the customer said it 60% in the middle, but we have batch reports, they were running 100% faster than on the x86. After we were live for 3 months, we get official support as well for SP4 from SUSE, so we want to upgrade the solution, and even SUSE was very interesting for doing a reference. So SUSE said to us, come on, let's do not only the SLES update, let's use the recommended. I say, technically, you do not have to use SLES for SAP applications. You can use SLES for SAP, SLES 11 SP3 or SP4. You have not to use SLES for SAP applications, but you see there are some really benefits in that package where you have more support, extended service pack support. You have, SUSE has now normally a 6 months support time frame for the different support packages. When you use SLES for SAP application, you have 18 months, so that's a big effort. As well you have, and that is what we implemented this year, 2016, as well you have the HA components available in this package. Specific update support and 24/7 priority support. So SUSE was giving the customer for free the upgrade from the SLES SP3 to the SLES for sub applications, because they were also interesting to bring that up, make experiences, and so we did that end of year last year. Not my fault as well, from the customer, so you see it here. Also the word foreign object, so he's now happy that he has completely bring the completely sub workload back to Power. Yeah, we did a TDI approach, that is the only available setup for HANA Power. And as I said before, it was from many kind of, or many aspects, it was the right time to do it. The ramp up was available. He had the Power hardware available. End of lease cyclus for the x86 appliance, so all fits perfectly together to do the project. But when you see the next steps, I said that already, we did a SLES upgrade. And afterward, this year, the customer said, I have shown you SAP, that is my CPU usage on that server. So I do not use any more dedicated LPARs. I virtualize complete my environment, as I do it for my traditional stuff. As well, for the application stack, we go back to 2-tier. So what do we do? We set up full virtualized Power server, not dedicated donator, and we brought back the application server, which was running under AX, as even for the x86 solution that was running AX application server, x86 appliance, and we didn't change the application stack, so we did only a HANA Power LPAR where the database was running. The application stack was running on AX. So we said, okay, or I said always, it's much, much better. And if you have no problems to get it back to 2-tier, that means no network connectivity between database and application server, do it. So we installed the BW application stack as well on the HANA LPAR. So that means SAP 2-tier setup. And that is really bringing much more performance to the complete environment as well. Integration of high availability, because you saw that the customer has a dual data center setup, so that was done as well to bring up high availability for this solution, because he needs all the reports from his point of sale stuff every time, because they are using 24/7 operations. So we did the high availability integration to bring it up to the another data center. But we didn't select to use SAP System Application. We did it on the storage, because the customer said, okay, 300 gigabytes of data is so fast up. We use SSDs for persisting the data, and to bring up 300 gigabyte with a Power server and starting up from scratch takes 10 minutes, not more. So that's enough. So you see what is the message from this project? You saw the complete evolution from HANA and Power, starting on one machine, only one LPAR, to get completely virtualized, let the workload run, and seeing the CPU utilization of the machine helps us to bring really HANA and Power in the driver seat to be really the best solution for running HANA workload, because we can now really virtualize with more than or until 8 LPARs on one server. We have complete set up all SAP applications on Power. So that makes really no difference anymore. If you run x86 or Power, all is certified from SAP. Scale out as well, we have that since last November for BW. It's right now I will say controlled availability as well for ARP, so we have no issues with that. If it gets GA for x86 to bring out a business suite application on scale out, we can do that with Power as well, but the recommendation as well from SAP and as well from IBM is to scale up as most you can do. Core to memory ratio, I said that already, and if you compare that to x86 solutions, we are more than double better than x86. So that means we have less cores and with better throughput. Some other things is that we can scale with the Power LPAR right now for ERP to 9 terabyte. We are on the way to bring that much more higher. Our biggest BW LPAR can be 4.8 terabyte. That is today 1 terabyte higher than on x86. So that means when you have right now a 4.1 terabyte or 4.5 terabyte BW HANA machine, you have to go on x86 to scale out. On Power, you can do a scale up. Current status, I think I have said all of that stuff. 8 dedicated LPARs or 7 plus shared pool, which is the recommendation to use the shared pool as well for application stuff. Other SAP servers that is mentioned in the first line. On x86 right now you are allowed to run under VMware 6.0 only one production server or one production SAP HANA LPAR. So we are right now on the way to 8 and there are no technical restrictions to scale that more to 16 or 32. So we are on the right way. That is right now what we can do. On our enterprise servers we can use 8 dedicated LPARs, SAP HANA LPARs, not LPARs. SAP HANA LPARs or 7 plus a shared pool, and which is normally the right side is the recommended setup. For the E850s we have 6 regarding 5 plus shared pool, and for all other servers we have 4 or 3 plus shared pool. So that is what is right now allowed. For the technical setup it looks like this. You have here 7 SAP HANA productive LPARs and the rest is running in the shared pool. But I think we have not that much customer. They are already running 7 productive SAP HANA LPARs. So I see right now in the market that most of the cases still are BW cases. Some are attaching ERP solutions, but the most is done for BW, and I see not that we have a problem with that limitation. So my last foil for you is this one. That is the brand new HANA Power roadmap from SAP. And you see it here, what we have today and what we get and what will be announced this week at TechEd. So there is, from my point of view, the very important thing is that we have the little engine enablement. Also our new power models are already available. That means our C models that we announced at Edge are already certified for HANA Power. You see it here, extended scalability for scale out, continued enhancement for power virtualization. So we already did that announcement with the more LPARs prior to the SAP TechEd. So you see IBM is on a good way to completely run HANA Power as we see it with Oracle and DB SAP. So the goal is to run every workload fully virtualized, even SAP HANA, and let the machine or let the application take care of what resources they need. You see it here because you said that. KP is as well from SAP on the roadmap to enable this technology, but there is as well some IBM effort to bring inside of this. And for us it was very important to bring HANA Power now up with little engines. So that was the main focus, to bring that up, to have as well the opportunity and the goal to migrate x86 solution very easily to Power. Because when we have the same endiness, you can copy the data from the x86 appliance to Power, or just move the loons, so that will work. So that was the goal, to bring first this up before we catch up CAPI and all that stuff. So we have CAPI use cases as well for other workloads already enabled. So that works. For some NVIDIA solutions, we have that already up. So it's a little bit effort to do that. But even what I want to tell you, with the next part, enhanced virtualization support, SAP and IBM are working very, very hard to enable as well dynamic memory scalability. We have already on the Power platform the technique available to extend or grow in the count of memories in a LPAR and to bring in more memory. That is already available with our hardware as well. On x80, on Power and AX and Linux as well available. But what is not available is that SAP HANA can use the additional memory what we can dynamically add to the LPower. And we are working as well at this joint project to bring that up. Then we have no disruption anymore when we can dynamically, or SAP HANA can adapt more memory. And then we have no more disruption, because right now when we have added the memory, more memory to the LPower, we have to restart HANA, and that is hopefully not in the future not anymore necessary. Power 9 we will see as well next year. I think we have already made some statements regarding Power 9, and that is as well enabled for HANA and Power. So I'm really happy that we have such a good roadmap, because as I showed you during the project, we had only a very limited solution at the beginning, but in 15 months we enabled the complete SAP stuff, and we are now on the way to enable the complete Power technology with all the enhancements from Power VM to the HANA stuff. And that is what me makes really proud, that we have the best platform for running HANA. So that was my last foil, and so if you have some more questions, I'm here. And thank you for your being here.